Hello, people. I am Jaby Koay, joined by Achara Kirk.
What's up?
We're continuing on with Season 2 of MIRZAPUR. This one's called Chauchak. Chauchak Wood. Chauchak?
I guess.
There it is. Chauchak.
Yes.
Chauchak. Chuck.
Okie dokie.
Chuck
Norris.
Wood. Okay. Could a woodchuck chuck, would what's the thing?
How much wood can a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
How much wood could a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck could chuck wood?
There you go.
Ha! Still got it.
I got a funny feeling. I got a funny feeling. Yeah.
You guys, thanks so much for joining us. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you're going to see a cut down version of the reaction. We're allowed to show a maximum of 5 minutes picture in picture of the show. Not to say that our reaction is going to be 5 minutes long, just how much we're allowed to show of Amazon's show, because that is what Amazon told to us. We are following the rules, Amazon. And if you're watching this on Patreon, you'll see the entire reaction, uncut, no compromises. However, we cannot show the Amazon show picture in picture for that long because that's, well, it's illegal. So
No compromises,
Yeah.
but you can't see the show.
Exactly.
You gotta have your own Amazon subscription.
yeah, you have to have that in an adjacent window, but it's like you're watching that show with your two favorite palsies from the internet. If you are watching this on YouTube, please subscribe, hit that bell icon, all notifications. That would be much, much appreciated. And without further ado, let's get into this.
पापा कैसे हैं चाचा जी?
पापा नहीं रहे बेटा।
Damn, just like that, huh?
Oh, wow.
पापा भैया की डेथ तो ऑन द स्पॉट ही हो गई थी। हम पहले बता देते तो राजनीतिक अस्थिरता पैदा हो जाती। सीएम पद की शपथ भी तो लेनी है हमको।
So you think he set it up?
I don't know, because if he did, he's doing an excellent job at pretending.
He's petting her kind of hard, you know?
I know. I'm like, dude, I don't know if that feels very nice. That looks nicer, okay? It's better. Oh.
देखो अपनों को खोने की तकलीफ हम समझते हैं। माधुरी हम बेस्ट हस्बैंड नहीं हैं, लेकिन ट्राई करेंगे।
हाँ, वो सीएम साहब का इस तरीके से मृत्यु हो जाना तो बहुत ही अफसोस की बात है।
ऐसे कुत्ते की तरह ट्रक नहीं दौड़ा रहे होते तो नहीं धरे जाते ना नाके पे। एक बात सुनो भोसड़ी का, हमको पता है कि सीएम साहब को तुम ही मारे हो, किसके कहने पे मारे हो हमको बता दो, घर जाओ अपने।
What does it say?
जौनपुर।
Oh.
शरद शुक्ला।
It's working for him, though.
सब कंट्रोल में।
त्रिपाठी मंत्रिमंडल में बने रहेंगे। भैया के संधि थे तो हमारे भी बने।
It's a little surprising. I'm sure he's got some kind of thing up his sleeve. He's
Keep
planning.
your friends near and your enemies closer. That's what's going on. What?
Keep your friends close and your enemies closer.
Oh, whatever. Isn't
Keep
this-
your friends, local, and keep your enemies much, much more close.
I said keep your friends near and your enemies closer.
I know, but that's the... You're supposed to use the word twice.
Oh, whoops.
Keep your friends somewhere in the proximity of you.
एक ही कुर्सी थी भैया। आप गए तो हम बैठे।
Damn, everybody in this show is just
Evil.
willing to kill their brothers.
पर मम्मी को
Crazy.
फेस टू फेस।
Craziness.
Why did they want it so bad? What's so great about being chief minister?
It's power.
Power? You get money, you get bribes, maybe. I don't know. Meh. I guess I just don't really have that inclination in me for that, so.
I don't know. If something happens to Jaby and Chara takes over the channel,
You'll know why.
you know exactly why.
I'll be sitting in the office. No, I'll be like sitting at the reaction table, just like, thank you, Jaby, for giving me the channel. Goodbye. Hasta la vista, baby.
क्या बोलते हो शेखू भाई? डाई करवा ले?
वैसे तुम्हारी अपनी दुकान है मियाँ, जो चाहे करवा लो।
ताली बनवाने आए।
बैठो।
Well, I imagine he's gonna want to take the knife and kill him.
Don't cut the dude's ear. I'm scared. It's like, it's so vulnerable. Ugh, I feel a little sick.
कुछ पाए थे तुम्हारा, वो भी देने आए।
Oh man! Oh man!
Why is he doing that?
Man!
Why is he killing him?
He's the boss. I just established that. He owns the shop. Oh god, this guy. He's pretty smart. Oh, you're gonna get a shave. Oh, this was in the trailer. This did not look nice. Oh, literally got smoked. Oh no.
I think that the barbershop scene might have been inspired by History of Violence with what's his name, who played Aragorn in Lord of the Rings. Viggo Mortensen.
I haven't seen that one.
It opens up with the barbershop scene.
आप ही का आदमी है डील क्या है मौर्य जी त्रिपाठियों को निपटाने में हमारी मदद करिए मौर्य साहब ये गूंगा बहरा है ना कुछ लिख के देगा ना कुछ बोलेगा आप हमारा कुछ उखाड़ नहीं पाएंगे देखिए मौर्य जी अगर हमारा दुश्मन सेम है तो उसका मतलब ये तो नहीं कि हम दोस्त हो जाएं
तुम्हारे पास छोड़ने की लाए मम्मी
पाल लेंगे बस एक शर्त है तुम ना सरेंडर कर दो गुड्डू
आदि जाने हम मम्मी सरेंडर कर भी दिए आपके ऊपर आने वाले गुड्डू नहीं आने वाले
I'm scared. Why aren't you wearing helmets? Is she okay? Or she fell asleep?
Isn't that really dangerous?
Yeah.
ऐसे गाओगे तो 7 जन्म में भी नहीं सोएगी लाओ हम सुला दे और आज ही नहीं आगे से भी ध्यान रख लेंगे इसका
तुम काहे लोगे जिम्मेदारी हमारी बेटी थोड़ी
तुम्हारी कहाँ है
That lady is determined.
Yeah. Did she drool on him?
That's the part they leave out of TV shows.
हम सो गए थे क्या
सुनो तुम पूरी तरह जाग गए हो क्या I love you हमने कहा I love you
पापा से मिल लेना वो हाँ कहेंगे तो हाँ वरना किसी और को ढूंढ लेना
हमें ऊपर से सपोर्ट है आपको हमारा सपोर्ट है
थैंक यू सर
और पंडित जी आपके सुपुत्र भी मुन्ना से कम नहीं है तो जब सफाई होगी तो पूरे तरीके से होगी समझ रहे हैं ना आप
अच्छी तरह से सर आप अपना स्टैंड बदले हो हमारा हमेशा से वही है
ये मंगवाइए
धैर्य रखिए यादव जी बाहर से तो यही लगना चाहिए कि विधवा कल्याण हो रहा है
नहीं तुम वीडियो बना
Has she planned something awful? No. Maybe not.
जी हम लोग रेडी हैं आदमी और गन्स दोनों मुन्ना को दाबने के लिए और मिर्जापुर के लिए अब आपके सिग्नल का इंतजार है ठीक है क्या कर रही हो ये
बच्चे के साथ खेल रहे हैं
बच्ची तो एक बहाना है सीढ़ियाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए
तुम्हारी दिक्कत क्या है गोलू तुम्हें गुड्डू पसंद है
पता नहीं
तो तुम्हें गुड्डू से प्यार है
पता नहीं
वो तुम्हारी दीदी के साथ थे इसलिए किसी और के साथ नहीं हो सकते
पता नहीं
तो तुम्हें क्या पता है गोलू
पता नहीं नहीं पता चुप हो रही हो कि धर जाए यहीं पे
गोलू
सॉरी लिपि जब तुम बड़ी होगी तब तुम समझोगी बड़े लोग बिन बात के चिल्ला बड़े लोग चूतिया होते हैं
Oh my god.
जेपी भैया तो वो दुखी नहीं है सर के जाने से सेलिब्रेट कर रहे हैं दीदी उस दिन जेपी भैया अलग गाड़ी में हमारे साथ आकर बैठे पहली बार ऐसा किया नहीं तो हमेशा सर के साथ उनकी गाड़ी में बैठते थे सर के जाने से पर्सनल लॉस तो हम लोगों का हुआ है और फायदा सिर्फ एक
सेक्सुअल हरासमेंट का केस है यही लखनऊ से
It's one of the girls.
Yep.
न्याय चाहिए साहब
क्या हुआ
शोषण हुआ है हमारा
There's camera evidence of it too.
Mm-hmm.
कौन किया नाम जानती हैं उसका डिटेल दे दीजिए पुलिस कार्रवाई करेगी
पुलिस कुछ नहीं करेगी साहब क्योंकि शोषण तो आपकी है
आप जानती भी हैं आप क्या कह रही हैं बाहर लेके जाइए भाई इनको
इंसाफ तो हम लेके रहेंगे, हम करेंगे नहीं अब।
कितनों को बाहर लेके जाएंगे साहब?
और कल रात हम योगा शिविर में थे। ये हमारे साथ कितने सालों से काम कर रही हैं, आप इनसे पूछ लीजिए।
आप कल योगा शिविर में नहीं थे सर। हम आज नहीं बोले तो शर्म से जी नहीं पाएंगे। हमारा शोषण भी तो कब से हो रहा है।
Why is she doing this?
Yeah, I don't know. Is she mad?
और रही बात प्रूफ की, तो हमारे पास इनके इतने वीडियोस और फोटोज हैं जिन्हें देख के आप सबकी आत्मा रो उठेगी।
नेता जेपी यादव पर लगे आरोपों पे पार्टी ने कोई प्रतिक्रिया नहीं की।
पार्टी ने इस घटना को बहुत गंभीरता से लिया है। स्वयं जेपी यादव पार्टी की प्राथमिक सदस्यता से इस्तीफा दे दिया है।
वैसे भी पार्टी किसी एक व्यक्ति की नहीं होती।
और ये सर्वहित है, विपक्ष और जनता।
Oh, what? Hold up. Hold up. Why did she do that?
Well, she's obviously working for somebody. I mean, from the moment she was videotaping it the first time, it seemed like something was suspect. We just didn't know in what capacity.
I was wondering if maybe she just felt scorned, but it seems so much bigger than that.
Well, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, like
she might have been planted by Tripathi a long time ago. That's the thing about it, is you don't know how long Tripathi's been lining her pockets.
Like a sleeper agent.
Yeah.
Just like, boom, now go.
That's the thing about these kinds of positions, is like, when you're in a society where people can be bought, there's a lot of corruption, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust anybody. The power keeps shifting so much. It's like, how does the economy in this area of the world just not completely fall apart? You know what I mean? I don't know, it's just crazy.
I mean, this sort of stuff happens a lot in developing countries, you know, with so much corruption and stuff. Often there are like exchanges of power, and it is very destabilizing.
So let's break this down bit by bit. Let's start with Muna.
Yes.
Muna's transition into being a good man, okay? It just seems rather abrupt.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's kind of feels hard to believe. It seems like he's a completely different character in this season than he was in season 1. I mean, I could definitely see how there's this wounded child inside of him, and so he acts out. He just wants to be respected by his father. He doesn't really have close friends. All his close friends are dead. He feels isolated now. Like, I get all of that, but still the transition feels a little bit clunky to me.
I would love to know what the writers were going for, because I feel like there are ways that this could have been... Okay, when he said, I know what it's like to lose someone that I love, I want to see what's going on in his head. It would have been great to see like some kind of quick imagery of some kind, of like who he's thinking about when he says that. Is he talking about Abhishek Banerjee? Is he talking about the girl he shot in the stomach who was pregnant with Gudu's kid?
Is he talking about his mother?
Is he talking about his mom? Like, who is he talking about?
Yeah.
I would just love to know. If you could just show like a quick image without even any audio, that's my favorite way of doing it, is just show like briefly for a moment a flashback in his mind without the audio. You just keep present day audio of who he's thinking about.
Well, I don't know. I will counter that with, I think it's okay that they didn't show, because then it leaves it open, because then you realize actually how many people he's lost in his life. You know?
I feel like you needed to show that, because it just feels so weird, especially coming off of season 1 where he murdered people at a wedding.
Yeah.
That is a big thing. You can't just like toss that out because you feel like making the character different. Like he's had a very dramatic shift away from that. He doesn't feel bad for his history at all. Like, yeah, he doesn't repent. He doesn't feel any guilt. It's just, he's just shifted away from that. It's like, okay, so why does he suddenly feel empathy for this woman?
Because she's the only one who really cares about him, or so he believes.
I feel like something's missing. I feel like there's like there's a stage in the development of that relationship that is missing, that is really crucial for me to buy into this relationship.
I want to buy into it. Like, I want to buy into it so badly. And I love when you have villainous characters who have some good in them. But I feel like we haven't really had that opportunity to see Munna really do anything that's very redeeming, apart from being nice to this woman.
Yeah.
You know, so I would have loved to see him do something apart from her that was maybe a good thing to do.
Oh, I don't
you know?
necessarily. I don't know that I necessarily need that. I mean, they played with these things in Game of Thrones all the time, where you had characters who you were supposed to hate, and then you grew to respect them, or you cared about them, or you rooted for them a little bit.
Yeah, but they usually did a good deed, you know? Like, okay, fine, Jaime Lannister pushed Bran out the window, right? And then he's also, like, murdered kings and all that. But ultimately, he managed to redeem himself by doing the right thing, even though he came back round to being with his sister. Like, it's complicated, but you don't really see Munna go through that journey as much. And so all of a sudden, it's like he's done all this bad stuff. Bad. Like, oh my God. And I did have sympathy for him. I know you didn't, but I had sympathy for him when he had to kill Compounder, because, like, that was his best friend. And his, you know, having to do that is just awful.
He also lost a guy in this season.
Yeah, and he lost his friend in this season. But I didn't really see him do anything that was slightly redeeming, apart from maybe standing up for his wife and all. And I just want more. And, you know, I want him to redeem himself.
I wonder if it's in the way that it's shot, like that first scene at the hospital. It's just all of a sudden he's so compassionate. And there's two scenes in particular that I'm thinking of. It's the one where he comes home from the hooker and she's like, I don't care if you have sex with someone, I just care if you fall in love with someone else.
Right.
She expresses her concern for emotional cheating more than physical cheating. And I do think that there is a positive to the way that was handled, because she was very poised. She was just laying in bed very, very calm, and he was the one who was acting hysterical, so to speak. Like, he was trying to get her attention. It was a very animal kingdom sort of move where he's just making noise, but it wasn't working on her. And I like that it didn't work on her. It almost felt like in order for this beginning to function the way it did, we needed more in that scene. We needed more in that scene where she wears him down. He sort of had this like click, this sort of a small epiphany, but that's not enough to suddenly jump to, suddenly he's got all the compassion in the world for her and he's in love with her and he just wants to take care of her and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that you can't just make that leap. There's stuff in between that needs to happen, and they could have gotten us further along there if in that scene, I don't know, something they embrace or something like that, because he keeps trying to make noise and she gets up out of bed. She's like, no, you're not gonna be able to get me upset, like, or something. You know what I'm saying? Like, she needed to basically leverage her maturity over him in that scene and wear him down and make him submit without it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like for him to emotionally submit in that scene potentially, or by the end of the last episode, would have been great, because then here you see exactly why he's got her back the way he does. Or in this beginning, there could have been a scene where he sees the effect. There needs to be more close-ups when there's emotional shit going on. The thing about it is when there's nothing emotional, oftentimes there's no close-ups. I mean, there are lots of close-ups rather. It's all close-ups. But when there's emotional stuff, it's a lot of mediums and wides. I'm like, no, but like that's when I feel like you need to be in tight and intimate. Like, for instance, when Golu, she realizes she messed up, right?
Yeah.
And she goes over to the little girl. No close-ups. All wide as a mediums. I'm like, what? Why? Like, isn't that the moment when she's looking at the little girl? I would have gone on tight on Golu, looking at the little girl, like realizing, oh man, like look what I did. And then cutting to the little girl who's crying. Come on over. Close up on the hand as she takes her hand, like close up on her face. Look, and then and same explanation, same exact scene, just shot with more tights. That at least affords you the opportunity to get inside the person's soul. The eyes are the window to the soul, man. You need to be on a close-up. And so for you not to have close-ups on these moments of realization, especially at the beginning of this episode when Munna realizes, oh, like I need to have my Betty's back.
Yeah.
I felt like we're missing shots in there that we needed to emotionally connect with the scene in order to have compassion. Afforded us way more compassion for Munna, at least with regards to the scenes in this episode, because as it is, it feels like it's being sort of shoehorned in.
Yeah, it feels a little bit like rushed. Like, oh, now he's completely different. It's like, yeah, but we needed to see that journey because we had a whole season where he was really quite awful.
Right.
And
especially at the last episode, the last episode 9, when he murdered Bablu and Sweetie. Yeah, like,
yeah.
It was horrifying.
Yeah, it was terrible. Like, and okay, so a year has passed, right? According to Dimpy. So we needed to see more of a transition, because it just seems like he's still an asshole. I mean, they call it out, right? He says, oh, I'm not the best husband, but I'm gonna try. And I guess that's their way of going, okay, so we're gonna see him try and be better now. But it would have been nice to just kind of see it in small increments throughout the season, because we're at episode 8 now.
You know what would have been great? I mean, I see what they're trying to do with this character. If that's what you're trying to do, then you needed to get there in a different way. I feel like along the way to this episode, we needed to see him have regret. regret. We needed to see him, because like the whole thing is he was in love with Sweetie, right?
yeah.
And I feel like instead of spending so much time on him going, I'm immortal, I feel like there should have been moments of pregnant pauses where he's just sitting like almost like, I don't like to cite this movie or reference this movie because I'm not a big fan of it, but you watch the movie like Drive. There's a lot of moments where characters are just kind of looking off and you see that something is going through their head, something is on their mind. And I feel like we needed moments like that with Moona, and then cut to, like I said earlier, like just a moment of him looking at Sweetie when he kills her, like reliving that moment and just having some kind of realization like, man, that was horrible. That was fucked up. Why did I do that? Why am I so messed up? Like having that sort of introspection and like examining himself, not letting go of this asshole character yet, because you still need that. It's like, it would be weird if he was just suddenly with reckless abandon went this other way, right?
Yeah.
And so like you have those moments when he gets in the truck and the guy accidentally hits him in the back of the head, the guy with the glasses in the book, he's like, he says something nasty to him. Like you still need those moments, and then she gradually wears him down because she sees through it. And then he confesses to her, he tries to anyway, and she goes, I don't want to know about your past. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of interesting stuff that was left on the table.
Right, but also there are so many characters and so many subplots and storylines going on in this show right now. They probably didn't have time to really explore that, because it's not all about Moona.
But why? Well, why not? Could be wrong, but I feel like Moona is the character that everybody talks about. And so it seems reasonable to me that you spend more time on him, really developing him or taking him into a new place, or throw in an extra episode. They were able to do 10 instead of 9. Why not do 11? Give me an 11th episode so that you have more space to, give me this time with Moona, having that transition so I buy it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because as it is right now, I'm like, I don't necessarily buy it.
It just feels like movie says.
Yes.
So now he is.
Exactly.
As opposed to, oh, I really see how he's changed. It just feels like so different to me. It's not really vibing.
I guess the last note I would have about the Moona bit is like, if I'm Gurmeet Singh, I'm having him pet woman's head way softer. Like, what the hell?
It's like,
he kept slapping her head. I'm like, damn. Come on, Gurmeet. Is that how your woman likes to have her head
Or
pet?
maybe it's a character choice. I was wondering about that. I'm like, maybe it's because he's so awkward and he's never been tender with a woman in his life. All he does is just like bang him and then leaves. So he doesn't know how to be tender. So he's literally just like almost punching her in the head. Just like,
I mean, I would have forgiven it if they added in a bit where she goes, hey, softer. And he goes, I'm sorry. And he sort of laughs about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I don't know, something like that. The romance with Dimpy, I still don't care about.
It's cute. Like, I just really like Robin. I think he's a really sweet character and he's interesting to me. But once again, even though on its own, I find that relationship very cute, I'm just like, but why?
Right.
Where does this fit into the story? You could have taken those minutes to explore Moona's development more. So if by the end of the season they can prove to me why that relationship was necessary and important, I'll be fine. As much as I love it, like, I don't hate it. I think it's super cute, and I think Robin is adorable, and Dimpy's feisty and all that, and I like the dynamic and the relationship between the two of them, but like, I don't see the point.
To what you're saying, the romance being there, it gets me a little bit frustrated because, again, that's like stuff where I would have taken out so I could focus more on Moona's development into his transition into this other dude. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, agree.
It all goes back to that because, like, you're showing me stuff I don't care about, and there's other things that I wish I had.
Yeah.
It's like, no, I would have. And so this stuff with JP, the scene with the widows,
yeah,
that went on for a while.
Yeah,
Didn't it?
I was kind of like, oh, was this absolutely necessary to see all this like orgy business? Like, I get it. Are we just trying to be edgelording here, or?
Well, that's the thing, is it didn't even edgelord.
It wasn't even that, because like
It was just going on for a while.
It was just going on. Like, I think we understand. She gives him the Viagra.
We also understand that JP's a dick.
Yeah.
Like, we get that.
So we didn't need to see all of that. So then we see Zarina take the video, and we're like, okay, we get it. Moving on. That wasn't a very important scene, and it wasn't.
Well, it was important. It just didn't need to be that long.
Well, yeah, I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, all of the sexiness, it wasn't
Advancing the story.
Yeah, it was like, okay, this is cool. It's just getting awkward now. Like, what's gonna happen?
Well, let's see. How long does it go on for? It starts at 37 minutes, 11 seconds approximately, and goes all the way to...
So it's like a 3-minute scene almost.
Yeah, it's about 3 minutes long. Yeah, over 3 minutes long.
Yeah.
And it's 3 minutes, 20 seconds approximately, right? And so it's like, did you need 3.5 minutes of that in order to communicate she's videotaping him? Like, we got it already in an earlier episode because they clued us in.
Oh, that's right. You're absolutely right. Yeah.
Because they were in bed together and she was...
Yeah.
So it was just like, it was a lot to make the point. Now, her turning her back on him in front of the public, like, that was a pretty cool scene because he lost all his power there. It was one of those things where you sort of knew what was coming and it made you a little uncomfortable because you knew how this was probably going to play out. It was like a Michael Scott moment. I was like, oh God, I don't feel comfortable right now because I know this is going to be so bad. For those who don't get the reference, he's from The Office. Like, The Office is full of moments where it was just uncomfortable. It's like, it's funny, but it's uncomfortable. And it was hard to watch sometimes because it was so uncomfortable. And this was one of those scenes where I go, oh, she's going to say it right in front of all the reporters and it's going to be so awful. Everything's going to be ruined right here. There was a part of me that knew that was the moment where she was going to turn her back on him. I just didn't know why.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll find out in the next episode why.
That's a good cliffhanger though, because she's seemed to be so loyal to him this whole time, or like maybe she loves him or cares about him, and then it's like, nope, she was plotting the entire time, or she's been recently bought. So it'll be cool to find out what it really is.
A long time ago, I think it was Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter, Prisoner of Azkaban.
Mm-hmm.
My former best friend Michael loved a certain scene in that book where I'm trying to remember how to describe it because it was so long ago that I read this book, but basically while you were reading this one particular chapter, who was good and who was bad kept shifting on you as the reader, like really, really, really fast. And he was impressed by that for whatever reason. When I read it, I was just getting annoyed. And he's like, oh, you didn't like that? Like, you didn't like how, like, the characters coming in and out, blah, blah, blah. And he explained it to me. I'm like, I can see why you like that. Like, how that's sort of breaking the rules and it's different. So here I'm sort of experiencing the same thing where I don't really have a clear trajectory of things. Things keep flip-flopping a little bit. And it's like, okay, I have to, like, abandon my American sensibilities and American story structure, or even Shakespearean story structure, and embrace this, whatever it's doing, for what it is, because it keeps flip-flopping on me. I'm like, okay, which way are we headed right now? And who's playing who? It's a lot to keep up with. And I get that it's analogous to chess. But it's like, we're dealing with like 18 different characters, and I wish that we were focused on like fewer characters who are trying to play each other. It's just a lot, you know?
Yeah, well, I don't mind that it's a lot. I just really want everything to be tied up at the end, because I love it when I watch a movie or a show which seems to have a lot of different splinters, like kind of going off in different directions, but when it can all tie up in the end, like a really great Agatha Christie episode, where it's like, oh my god, and that's how the murderer did it. It was this, and this is how they figured it out. I like it when the loose ends get wrapped up. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some sort of satisfaction at the end of this season.
No, I understand that it's an ensemble cast, but it's like, it's so much that things are getting lost. Things are getting sacrificed in an effort to hold all these pieces on the board, right? One of the only instances where I was really, really satisfied with so much going on at the same time was Crash, the movie Crash. It was like at the end, they managed, somehow impossibly, they managed to wrap that movie up. And so here it's like, there's a lot going on. I'm like, I'm starting to get anxious that the last episode is not going to pay off with so much happening, but maybe it will, and maybe I'm wrong. You know, I'll go in cautiously optimistic. You know, why hold judgment against something I haven't watched yet? Yeah, there's little gems here and there. I'm like, oh, that was cool. That was neat. I like how they did that. That was pretty nice. Like, in particular, you know, the last scene of this episode.
Yeah, that was cool.
Was pretty cool. I just wish it got to these things in a different way, you know, stylistically a little bit different. Against what I said earlier, when I said I need close-ups for emotional stuff, they managed to do that here, where he's looking at his assistant, who he's trusted this entire time with everything, and he's like, what? And you see everything fall out, the floor fall out from under him, basically, emotionally, in his face, and her looking back at him, and you had two nice close-ups of them there, and I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, what do you think about Goodu's development in this series, in the season so far?
He's becoming more and more of this mafia-type villain. And the thing about it is, from the very beginning, he's always been sort of full of himself.
Mm-hmm.
He hasn't ever been humble about anything. And even the death of his wife and baby, unborn child, like nothing seems to have humbled him necessarily. He's still sort of this brute, you know? And I'm like, how come you're not smarter than this? Why aren't you better than this?
See, I don't know, because I like watching this, he seems much calmer now than he was before, because he was a lot more emotional before. Yeah, he'll still get in a fight and he'll still, you know, kill people, and like, that scene with the barber when he came in and just like,
sure, yeah,
that was gross.
Yeah, no, it's gross, but it was necessary. I see. The thing about it is, because of that, when you pointed it out to me, I had no idea that that was the owner of the barbershop. I thought the guy who killed the doctor was the owner of the barbershop. I was so confused.
No, I only caught that because of the exchange that happened right before that, when he was asking about dyeing his hair, and then.
Well, that's an example of, you know, you should show me, not tell me. Dude. And it's like they're only because someone said something did I know that he was the owner. But I'm like, why is that even important? Why even add that element?
Because then Gudu was able to give the shot to the guy that killed the owner with the scissors.
But the other guy could have been the owner as well. Like, how did that?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did that help things? So I was just a little bit confused by that. But I mean, you're right. He is taking a different approach in terms of his, I don't know, his cadence, his manner is different. But he's still the same guy. Like, he's still coming in with the same brazen attitude. It's still the same person who stood up to Tripathi when he murdered Shanara's dad. What's his name?
Sharad?
Sharad's dad. Yeah, when he murdered his dad. It's the same. And then Tripathi's like, no one should do anything without my orders. And he stood up. He's like, you know, with all due respect, blah 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 blah. He's like in his face.
Yeah.
Right. Same guy who's talking to Lala going, I don't appreciate the way you talk to me. Don't ever talk to me that way again. And then the following episode, by the way, last conversation, I didn't appreciate the way that you talked to me. Don't do that again. It's like, why? Where's this attitude coming from? I don't understand it. It's like, you don't even have a house, dude. You still don't have a house.
Yeah, but I that's what I find interesting because, you know, Gudu's character, even though, yeah, he's becoming more of this like strong, silent mafia don type, there's still a thread of his personality remaining, whereas Munna's character development or whatever,
it's dramatic.
It's
dramatic
like
shift.
kind of shifting dramatically in a way that doesn't
Abruptly.
really seem to make sense.
Yeah.
That's what I find interesting.
That's fair. I mean, I can retract that. It's more of those little scenes. If they just took those scenes out, where he's being such a dickhead, I would have been more fine with I would have been more appreciative of his journey as a character. You know, like the fact that he's taking this little girl, you know, that's pretty cool. You know, it's a redeeming quality of his.
Yeah, but like, yeah, Gudu's always had some redeeming qualities. The thing is, he has a really big heart and he loves his family very much, but he's also very prideful. And so, I don't know.
Right.
I feel like those things are consistent throughout. And there are definitely elements of Munna's character which are consistent throughout. Like, he's an asshole, he's selfish, he's whatever. But in order to make him more believable as this guy who's suddenly like, oh, I'm gonna be the best husband, it just needs a little more. Sorry to go back to that. Yeah.
Yeah. No, I guess you're right. To be honest with you, if I'm being perfectly honest, like, I don't really have much of an answer when you ask me how I feel about Gudu. I don't care about him as much as I wish I did. It's like he's
there.
He's there. He's a main character. He's doing his thing. But I don't really have an emotional investment in what he's doing. And it's like, it was almost like we blew our load early on in this season when he fought Muna and Sharad at the same time. I'll never get his name right. Sharad. Yeah. It was almost like we blew our load with that early on, because since then they haven't had communication. They haven't had any sort of conflict. They haven't even talked about each other much. It's like, what are we even fighting for at this point? Like, what's the objective here? What's the goal?
Mirzapur.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, okay, but like the thing about it is, yes, Mirzapur, that's the overarching thing, but still at the end of the day, it's about revenge. And he wants to get Muna, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's why he asked JP for 15 minutes alone with Muna.
It finally comes back here.
Yeah.
But then again, we have that flip-flop thing, which is more distracting. It's like, I don't know. Maybe I'm complaining too much, and it'll all pay off in the next 2 episodes.
It's the long game, but the thing is, we're looking at it so close right now that we can't see the complete picture.
Yeah.
But we won't know the complete picture until the end.
There's just a lot going on, and so hopefully it all pays off. Like I said, this last scene was pretty cool. In this particular episode, I was very much appreciative of it, and now I'm just wondering who planted her.
Yep.
Who planted JP's assistant.
That's the big question.
Oh, I forgot to mention the scene with the father. the lawyer father and the police officer.
Yeah, because there's this whole thing about his family wanting Guddu to surrender and to give himself up.
Right.
Police chief saying, you know, if it's going to be a conflict of interest.
Ramakant Pandit is the character, the lawyer who I keep calling the father.
Yes.
Is with R.S. Maria, right?
Yes.
And the IG. In this scene, IG tells Ramakant, you know, you have to go after your son as well. You know, you can't be easy on him.
Yeah, you can't pick and choose who you're going to prosecute and
Right.
put in jail.
And that was a nice little moment where we got a close-up on the father going, you see that moment of him realizing, oh yes, I do have to do that.
Yeah,
And-
but then you also see him be steadfast and true in what he's always said from the beginning, which is that they must.
Yes and no. That was a great moment of what he was saying wasn't exactly what he was thinking. Do you know what I mean? Because
See, I don't think so.
I think so, because the thing about it is he had this sort of hesitation. He had a little bit of a like, oh shit, kind of feeling in his heart and his throat, and that's because he's reminded, I have to put away my own son.
Right.
Right? And I don't want to. But out loud he's going, that's been my attitude the whole time, boy. You know what I'm saying? It's slightly
Sure.
different.
I mean, that's definitely the more interesting thing. It's more interesting to watch someone say something
different than what they're thinking.
than what they're thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think that when he says that he will put his son away, I think that he will do it.
Oh, yeah.
Will it be easy?
No.
No.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
That's what I'm getting at is the conflict, the internal conflict that he demonstrated in that scene was nice.
Yeah.
Because that helped it not be an otherwise very boring paint-by-number scene. Every scene they've shot in this police station office has been boring. It's like it's shot boring, the dialogue's boring, it's just not a lot happens.
It's exposition.
It's very expositional.
Yeah.
And so that one little moment where he goes, you know, remember you got to take down your son, and the father just like has that hesitation for a split second, long enough for us to catch it, that made this scene worthwhile because
Right.
I liked that moment that the father gave. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I feel bad
As we
'cause
break it down and
I feel
discuss
bad.
it.
I feel bad because I know that the filmmakers watch our reaction and discussions, right? At least a lot of times the filmmakers do. And so I'm always trying to find constructive criticism. This is an instance where it's like there's so many glaring issues and they can't be ignored. And it's frustrating because a couple people had watched the show before I got to watch it, and they were telling me, you know, their feelings about it. And they said, oh, you might really like this episode because a lot of the things you said that you were critical of in season 1, they address in season 2. It's a lot more character. But I mean, everything we've been talking about is the but, you know. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Because like when I heard that, I actually got genuinely excited. I'm like, oh, this could be really cool. And I still don't know why when they introduced Golu, she was masturbating. I still don't get it. I still
but
don't.
How does that come back around?
Yeah, I still don't know like what that had to do with anything.
And she's another one that I'm kind of like, I mean, I guess I can rationalize and go, okay, she went through a lot of trauma, so now she's become this really hard person. But she's another one who it's like night and day from season 1, you know?
I'm not necessarily mad. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying, but I'm not necessarily mad about that. What frustrates me is that there's this transition to this other person, and she just sort of plateaued, and nothing has been done with that.
Yeah.
It's just she's just this hard character now.
Yeah, I want to
Like-
see more. I want to
Yeah.
see more layers from her.
And they almost explored it a little bit with
Junior.
her flirting with Junior, but I'm like,
Yeah.
well, where's it really going?
That was fun though.
Yeah, I mean, but she's not actually feeling anything in those moments. It's all for the purposes of something else,
Yeah.
you know?
And nothing's really going on with her and Guddu apart from business.
I think that's what it is. It's that. Thank you so much for mentioning that. That was actually very frustrating to me. What's her name?
Shabnam.
Shabnam calls her out and goes, so what is the problem? She goes, I don't know. Do you like him? I don't know.
Yeah.
Do you want me? I don't know. I don't know what I don't know. And I'm like, I almost feel like the writers are talking to me, going, I don't know.
I don't know what she
Yeah.
wants.
You know, like that's a big problem when your character doesn't know what she wants. That's actually a big rule in screenwriting in the States. I know it's American,
Yeah.
I get it, but that's a big rule in screenwriting, even in acting, I think.
Yeah,
where your character,
always know what your character wants.
yeah, your character has to know what he or she wants.
They don't have to know, but you as an actor playing that character, you have to know what they want.
Yeah.
It should always be clear.
Well, the writer needs to know as well.
Yeah.
And right now, it feels like at this point, like she can't be this lost. Like she has to be trying something at least. Like, does she want him? Then she needs to go for him, you know? Or she needs to demonstrate stronger jealousy to the point that she's actually trying something with Gudu. Like, something needs to happen.
Unless that scene is there in order to facilitate her to do more of that stuff going forward, to like actively figure out what the hell she wants.
I don't think that's what's happening. I think that scene is for her to back off and let Shabnam and Gudu, you know, get it on. She's like, all right, cool, you have my blessings now. I think that's what that scene's about more than anything.
Shabnam knows what she wants.
Yeah.
Shabnam wants Gudu, and she's doing every freaking thing she can to get him. She's playing her objectives to a T.
I almost wish that Golu was more forceful and told Gudu straight up, like, you can't see her anymore. And for all of the...
She did!
No, but like, obviously not strong enough. Like, for all of the hubbub that Gudu is raising about, like, you can't talk to me that way, she should be the one person who gets to talk to him that way. It's like, you cannot see her anymore. Are we clear? And he goes, yes. Like, and completely submits to her.
He won't.
No, but like, she should be the one person that...
Why? Sweetie was the only person. She's no Sweetie.
I don't know. I would have liked it. I know that's probably wrong, but I would have liked it. Because at least, you know, because then it's like going somewhere. She's doing something with her power. I don't know. It's just because it went nowhere. They slept in the same bed.
I know.
They cried. And nothing's happened since then.
Like what? So what are we?
So...
Yeah.
I don't know, but there's still 2 more episodes.
Yeah.
So, you guys...
We could be surprised.
It could be amazing. It could knock our socks way off.
Yep.
You guys, thanks so much for hanging out. I'm Jaby Koay. This is...
Achara Kirk.
Peace out.